Namah Shivaya, family, and I hope this finds each of you in radiant health and wellness. And some of my students have been in touch with me and made some requests in this time of quarantine. And a very dear student of our Sangha is celebrating her birthday today. And I asked her, what can I possibly offer you for your birthday? And she said, my butt's pretty sore from so much sitting and teleconferencing and doing everything through Zoom and all this visual stuff that we're doing in front of the iPods. And so I will start today's practice maybe loosening the grip in the fanny a bit. How about that, right? Okay, beloveds. So today's practice is going to include a roller. And it's just going to be a short little practice on reversing the effects of sitting, reversing so much time in the chair. And so we're going to use the roller to soften the fanny, to release the grip in pectoralis from doing so much keyboard asana, and to reduce the grip in the hip flexors from sitting. So grab your roller, and if you have a block, fantastic. If not, get a blanket or a pillow or something that you can use to support your head, and let's play. Okay, Namah Shivaya. I bow deeply at the feet of each and every one of you, and I'm so glad we have this opportunity to be together in this way. So on your roller, you will be seated with your feet standing and your knees bent. And you're just going to slowly start to roll out your gluteus medius, roll out the fanny. And you're going to stay somewhat on the sitting bone area. And you're just going to take little rolls. And you're going to roll forward and backwards, pushing through the four corners of your feet. Eyes on the horizon to honor your cervical arch. And just roll many times to create a little bit of warmth here. And then once you start to feel that the glute is beginning to warm up, then you will take your hands to the floor behind you and start to roll a little bit higher up on the gluteal tissue. So a little bit higher up on the fanny, towards your waistband. And continue to press through the four corners of your feet. Find good grounding through your feet, support through your hands behind you. And roll this tissue many times, getting up in gluteus medius, moving from maximus to medius. Shoulders low, heart high. And last little bit of rolling the upper buttock tissue. And then hands come back onto the knees or high shins as you come back to seated on gluteus maximus, for our last few rolls on gluteus maximus. And then steady your roll and allow your left ankle to rest on the top of your right thigh. Left ankle rests on the top of the right thigh. And then from here, you're going to take your left hand back behind you for support. Your right hand goes to your left knee. And you start to roll a little bit away from the midline. So you're just rolling forward and backwards. And you're starting to paint your left buttock cheek. And do this very slowly and gently. You can take as much weight into your right foot as you need to. And just kind of come up off the left buttock a little bit if it's too intense. And really paint your back left pocket. Just roll that roller up and down it like as it had paint on it. And get as far out to the lateral edge of your left buttock as you can. So 3 sets of gluteals: gluteus maximus, gluteus minimus, gluteus medius. So we're trying to see if we can isolate out those areas using this roller. All right, last little bit in the lateral edge of the glute. And then starting to roll back to center. Gluteus maximus. As you come back to center, you release that left foot to standing, hands on the tops of the shins, bottom of the knees, and you roll in the sitting bone area roughly. And then second side. We take the right ankle to the left thigh. And right hand goes back for support. Left hand comes onto the right knee. And we just start slowly moving from the midline. So don't go straight to the outer edge. Just roll a little bit, drop your shoulders, lift your heart, and really feel the juicy juice in the buttock. And feel wherever you could be of most service. And loosening the grip in the butt muscles. Going up as high towards the upper buttocks tissue as you comfortably can, and as low down. Just really getting curious about your range high to low as you slowly work your way to the lateral edge. Yeah, good. Covering as much gluteal surface as you can, going all the way to the outer edge. And then slowly, when you're satisfied, working back, slowly come out the way you came in. Take several rolls, getting back to center. And do this for as long as it feels good in your own practice. And when you come back to center, last little bit of rolling Maximus. And then pause at the top for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath into the buttocks. Exhale, soften. Just a moment to feel. And let the gluteal muscles know that you are here in the name of love. And you invite them to continue to loosen the grip. And then from releasing the buttock muscles, eyes blink open, and you just roll forward in front of your roller. And as you roll forward in front of your roller, you are going to begin organizing so that as you lay back, the roller is going to arrive just beneath the bottom edge of your shoulder blades. So the bottom of the shoulder blades, just beneath the bottom edge of the shoulder blades, is where the roller lands. So the top edge of the roller is at the bottom edge of the shoulder blades. Support your skull. Interlace your fingers at the base of your skull. Elbows hug the midline for the moment. Knees bent, feet to standing, completely supporting yourself. Having gotten whatever you need to support your neck close by. You're on a wing and a prayer now as you go down, and you'll adjust as you need to, but you've got your support close by. And then slowly lower your upper body, draping the roller. So ultimately we don't want to come crashing down on the roller. There's this great buoyancy to the heart as we float up off the roller. Support the head as far down as you can, and then feel for the support that you have, the external support if you need to. Some folks, perhaps you have the flexibility in your thoracic spine that you can just lay your head down on the ground. But most human beings need some type of support so we're not introducing tension into the neck. Okay? So the roller is just beneath the bottom edge of your shoulder blades. The sternum has a great buoyancy floating up off the roller. We're not crashing down onto it. We're just draping the roller with a great buoyancy, shoulders dropping low and far from the ears. That's the most important thing I can say to you here, is that your shoulders are far from the ears, your neck is free, your head is well supported. And then with your knees in line with your hips and your feet to standing, press into your feet, pick up your buttocks, scoop your tail up and under, and lay back down, spilling your hip bones towards your arm domes. And I invite you to stay active through the four corners of your feet here, and perpetually, continuously encouraging a slight posterior tilt to your pelvis. So this is to say, again, the frontal hip bones are spilling backwards towards your arm domes, as if you were working towards imprinting your low back, and really all we're doing is claiming the length of our low back, as much space as you can from the bottom rib to the waistband. So stay spacious in your low back. That can start feeling a little bit hemmed up as you initially arrive in this shape, okay? So, active through the four corners of the feet, belly button dropping down towards the floor. The sternum is got this magnetic pull towards your chin. And the upper buttocks tissue has a magnetic pull towards your calves. So the back body is cascading towards the footward edge of your mat, and the front body is just floating towards the headward edge of the mat. The shoulders are low, the heart is high. Deep external rotation with the upper arm bone. So rolling the inner arm towards the outer, biceps are towards the ceiling, elbows are completely soft and relaxed. Your arms are on the back side of the roller, and your elbows are resting down to or towards the floor. Palms are up. And remember, the palms don't go skyward from your wrist. They go skyward from your shoulder blade, gently hugging the midline, as well as moving towards your back pockets. Okay? So do your very best Goldilocks, feeling your way into this. And then what you'll notice is there's this great opening of the top two corners of the chest here. A great spreading of the wings of the heart. An expansiveness in the sternum. And everything that attaches to the sternum, we feel it loosening the grip. And then perhaps you're aware of everything that is attaching up underneath the lip of the rib basket. Feeling the attachment of the diaphragm. There's a lot of juicy deliciousness happening here, and I really invite you to close your eyes and drop into all of the sensations that are presenting. Soft tongue, soft jaw, soft eyes. A firm rootedness in the feet, providing the stability. And then every so often, as you need to, you just press into the feet, pick up the pelvis, spill the hip bones backwards. If ever your low back is bothering you, you continue to adjust as your body acclimates to the pose. Now initially you're going to perhaps feel some tenderness that will subside. However, if your low back does not subside in the commentary that it is offering, and this is simply too much for your body, you would take a block or perhaps a well-folded blanket, pick up your buttocks and bring that support very low down on your spine, as low down as you can. And so it's going to be a support that encourages the scooping of your tail skyward. So get it as low down as you need to, so it actually assists you in that posterior tilt of the pelvis, in spilling the pelvic bowl backwards. Okay? And then you can leave that support in there for as long as your body needs. And then every so often you test the waters. Without picking your head up, you may just reach down with a hand and slide that support out of the way. It does lessen the intensity of the stretch, and as your body acclimates to the stretch, it may no longer be needed. So keep your finger on the pulse of how the layers of your being are softening into this shape. Do you want this or no? You can take it. Okay. And then once you've got absolute permission from your body to be how you are in this approximation of the shape, then you release beneath the radar of effort. And the only thing that maintains wakefulness is your feet on a physical level. And then you bring your awareness to your breath. And you introduce your breath into the tender places, wherever your body is most experiencing this shape. And you open your breath up into these areas. And you let the breath be your ointment. Stay soft in the jaw, the tongue, the eyes. And incredibly generous with the breath. And if your mind wanders and vacates the room, just use sensation as the portal back in. And just come home to yourselves. Noticing sensation without weaving a story about it. Just pure sensation. And then the offering of the breath. Last little bit of just allowing your body to receive. Receiving the life of your breath and the breath of your life. And for those of you who prefer the stillness of draping the shape, you stay here. And then for those of you that would like a little bit of movement on the roller to move energy. So we've brought things to the surface perhaps. And now we have the opportunity to move them. You can move them with your breath and stay in the shape and just really move prana through conscious breathing. Or we can begin to interlace our fingers at the base of our skull, scooting our neck support out of the way. Just gently push it on beyond you. And then supporting your head and lifting your hips to the height of your shoulders. Your elbows drop low, your hips lift, and so your elbows will come down and your hips will lift up, and your elbows are roughly in line with your hips and your knees. Your shoulders stay here for a moment. Inhale. And as you exhale, elbows hug the midline, chin into the chest. You start to straighten your legs just ever so slightly. And then stop at the bottom of the shoulder blade. Inhale, coming back into your bridge, supported bridge. Elbows drop, gaze to the ceiling. Exhale, elbows hug the midline. Looking towards your knees. And just stay on your shoulder blades for the first 10, 12 rolls. Just continue to roll from the top to the bottom of your shoulder blade. So as you bend your knees, you take your gaze to the ceiling. As you straighten your legs, you hug the elbows into the midline and look for your toes. As you come back into your bridge, elbows drop, heart lifts. As you come into extension, chin into the chest, elbows hug the midline. Now keep your elbows in the midline here and take a few rolls. With your elbows hugging the midline, just bend and straighten your knees a little bit. The elbows are hugging the midline to create lots of space between your shoulder blades on the back side. So I really want you to feel that roller just between your shoulder blades. And you don't have to bend or straighten your legs too much. This doesn't take much in the legs. It's a small little roll, and you're just feeling it from your right shoulder blade to your left shoulder blade, and really leaning down into the roller with your weight, and getting right in between the shoulder blades themselves, all the attachments there that hold your wings onto your back body. Yeah. And then come back into your tabletop, with your elbows dropping, your gaze to the ceiling, and then we start moving into the original movement as you straighten your legs. As you straighten your legs, you look to the wall in front of you, and it's okay, we get off. Okay, straighten your legs up to the wall in front of you. There, keep your, there you go, and then bend. There you go. And as you straighten your legs, you look towards your knees or your feet. And as you bend your legs, you look towards the ceiling. And start taking the roller a little bit further down your back. This is going to get juicy, all right? So you're starting to work down thoracic towards the lumbar, and do this several times. And feel where you're most needed. Yeah, beautiful. So organically, you may find that you exhale in one direction, you inhale in one direction. And then for your last few rolls, continue to keep your elbows hugging the midline and go a little bit to the right edge of your spine. So keep the elbows in the midline and just hug a little bit to the right of the spine. Yeah. And after several rolls up and down the right edge of the spine, elbows continue to hug the midline just to expose the spine. And we take the roller to the left edge. We just roll, shift our body weight a little bit to the left. That can get kind of juicy. All right? So rolling the lateral edge of the spine, last little bit. Yeah, good, good, good. And then coming back down the center strike for a roll or two. Modify this however your body needs you to. And then next time you roll with the roller down towards your waistband, come on up to seated. Support your skull. And bend your knees, feet to standing. Float on up to seated. Elbows hug the midline. There we go. Release your arms. Pause at the top. Take a clearing breath. Yeah. And now just reach back for the roller. Grab it and slide it up underneath your bent knees. Slide it up underneath your bent knees. And let your legs go long with the roller resting underneath your knees. Let your legs go the width of your sticky mat. Gentle bend in your knees. The roller is completely supporting you. And then slowly begin to take a forward fold. Moving into Kormasana, into a supported tortoise. If you can, grab the outside edges of your feet to spread open the outside edges of your back body. And then your chin dropping in towards your chest, your head just hanging off the vine of your neck. Your shoulders are low. And then feel your breath flooding your back body. Everywhere that the roller just was, your breath explores. Getting deep into your back lung tissue. You've heard me say it 10,000 times. The majority of the lung tissue is on the back body. So open wide the kite. Beautiful. As if one could see you breathing from your shoulder blades. Breathing from the back door of the heart. Getting the breath as low down as you can. As wide as you can. And then perhaps as high up to the back of your neck as you can. Soften your legs, soften your shoulders, soften your spine. Again, just drape the shape. Soft belly, soft chest. Feel a little bit of space emerging up underneath the base of your skull, as if letting in the light. Maintain the shape and soften even more. Last few breaths here, soften as deeply as you're able, while continuing to distribute the breath generously throughout your body. Take a nice deep breath in. A moment of retention at the top of the inhalation. Hold that breath. Sneak in a little bit more. Hold it. Feel it getting into the cracks and the crevices. When you need to, inhale through the nose to top it off and empty through the mouth. Follow that exhalation all the way to the shore. And then hands slide onto the roller outside your knees, or wherever it best supports you as you post off that point of contact, chin into the chest, and slowly start rolling up bone by bone. Pause at the top with the eyes closed. Shoulders drop low as the head lifts high. Take a clearing breath or two. Just feel. Feel the story of your bones. And whatever the story, perhaps simply give thanks for the ability to feel. And then the eyes blink open, and you slowly work yourself up to seated on the roller. Just coming forward, up to seated on the roller. Feet to standing, knees bent. And then your hands go wide. Hands go wide onto the ground. And then very slowly, tucking your chin, let your hands slide wide as you lay the back door of your heart down. So lay your back body down, continuing to stay seated on the roller. And as you come down, slide your superhero cape down your back. And feel that your roller is nice and low down on your sacrum. Shoulders down, palms up. And feel those shoulder blades sliding down into your back pockets. And for a moment here, with your knees bent and your feet to standing, bring your legs together. And just let everything hug the midline for a moment. And then as your knees hug the midline, your feet, your ankles, keep this and begin to slowly let your legs go long. Keep hugging the midline as best you can as you work your way into long legs. And maybe slightly pigeon-toed, rolling to the inside strike of the heels. Continue rolling the outer thigh to the inner and hug the midline with your legs as your arms go long overhead. And you hook your thumbs into a butterfly shadow and hug the outer arm to the inner. Hug the outer leg to the inner. And come out through the top and the bottom. And if this has you hemmed up in your low back, push your roller lower down on your buttock. The roller is so low down that it's spilling your pelvic bowl backwards. The purpose of the roller is to take you into a posterior tilt. And then continue to wiggle and writhe and shimmy out of your skin suit. Life is not a struggle, it's a wiggle. Rolling the outer thigh to the inner, rolling to the inside strike of the heels, rolling to the inside strike of your big toes, lengthening your toes towards the floor, getting long in your foot flexors. My, what long foot flexors you have. And continue, everything hugging the midline in such a way that has you feeling the inside strike of your hip bones. As you continue to feel that space there, everything attaches up underneath the rib basket. And the last little bit of shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Get really long in your lateral body. Get long as you can, long as you can. And then soften the intensity of all of that as you relax into pentacle pose. And pentacle pose, you allow your arms to find the top two corners of the mat, your legs to find the bottom two corners. You take a moment to reach out in four directions, lengthening out of yourselves in every possible way. It's active for a few breaths to find your full length. And then you soften. And you notice, how does it feel to be you right here, right now? Where are there any tender spots that might need your attention, your kindness, your breath? your pure awareness, your gratitude. Just pause. Go there. Be your own best friend. And then let your arms come out like wings. Just lower them down. And allow your legs to start coming back into the midline. Slide them back towards each other. And then slide your feet to standing. And they're still relatively close together. Your legs are still relatively close together. And your knees are directly above your heels. And you just pause here for a moment and feel. And then slowly begin to hug your right knee into your chest. Keep your left knee where it is and hug your right knee in. Reach down and grab hold of whatever's most comfortable for you to hold on to. Whether it's the back of your thigh or your shin. And the roller is still there to spill your pelvic bowl backwards, to give you that posterior tilt, to keep a nice spacious low back. And then we hug that knee in as deeply as we're able for a last few breaths here with the left knee bent, left foot standing. And as we hug that right knee in, we take a few breaths from the right hip to the right shoulder to clear stagnation in the ascending colon, the liver, the gallbladder. And then on an exhalation, just let your left leg go long. Left leg goes long, still hugging the midline. And there's again that slight internal rotation of rolling your outer thigh towards your inner, rolling towards the inside strike of your left heel, working the big toe of your left foot towards the floor, getting nice and long so that you can continue to use that left leg and that left foot to get to the inside strike of your left hip bone. And really lengthen out through the left femoral triangle where the left leg meets the body. Breathe into that. And you're hugging your right knee in to stay long in your low back. You're lengthening that left leg out of your hip socket. And you're breathing into this juxtaposition. Yoking yourselves open. And really reversing the effect of chairs in that left hip flexor. Hug in the midline with each leg. And then release your right foot to standing. And then arms out like wings. Let your right leg go long. And once again for a moment, legs hug the midline into each other. Arms hug the midline overhead. And we come out through the bottom and the top once again. Hugging the outer leg to the inner, the outer arm to the inner. Reaching out through the inside strike of your big toes. Rolling to the inside strike of the heels. Rolling the outer thigh to the inner and lengthening, 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 wiggling and writhing and getting as long in your waist as you can. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. Ooh, yeah. Release the arms back out perpendicular to the body, out like wings, feet to stand. Yeah. Legs are still somewhat close together, if not side by side. Pause. Notice. Take a clearing breath or two. And you'll notice there's a tendency for the knees to want to flop open. It's like, oh, what would it feel like if I kind of hug the midline with my knees a little bit? Does that allow me to continue to stay at the inside strike of my hip bones so that maybe this length can go all the way up to psoas? Maybe, as you start to hug your left knee into your chest. Love on your low back or whatever tenderness there is. Continue to adjust your roller so it's there where it's needed to keep spaciousness in your low back. Both knees hugging the midline. Stay here for as long as your body likes this stretch, and when you're ready, you start to take the right leg long. And you hug the midline with that right leg and the inside strike of the right heel. Lengthening out through the inside strike of the right foot, out through the big toe. The toes themselves reach for the mat. Nice and long, and the foot flexors still. And then feel this length all the way from the inside strike of the right foot to the inside strike of the right knee to the inside strike of the right hip bone. Both legs still hugging that midline, getting you there. Yeah, into the center strike of your being, and then breathing where your right leg meets the body. As if you could put 2 little nostrils at the crease of your right leg and open up the house of prana there. Rolling the outer thigh to the inner. Breathing, breathing, breathing. And then having initially gotten into that right femoral triangle, the right hip flexor, and open your breath up there. And now we take our breath from the left hip to the left shoulder and take a few deep Dirga Swasam, big belly breathing, 3-part breath there to clear stagnation from the descending colon, the pancreas, the spleen, the stomach, the heart. It's kind of like an inverted lunge. And then begin to release your left foot to standing. Arms out like wings for support. Take your clearing breaths and then let your left leg go long. And one last time, everything hugs the midline. Outer legs roll to the inner legs as we get very active, reaching out through the inside strikes of the feet, the inside strikes of the heels, reaching out through the toes, rolling the outer thigh to the inner. Yeah, hugging the outer arm to the inner, thumbs hook. Get as long as you can. Last little bit of just I Dream a Genie, climbing out of that bottom. Get as long in your waist as you can. Reach your toes to the sticky mat. Let your toes touch the mat. Stay active through your feet. It's a call to consciousness. Are you present? Are you in your practice? Are you in your body? Last few breaths. Be here. Be here for yourselves in such a meaningful way. Yeah. Breathing from the crease of the legs. Really opening up the creases. And then softening out into pentacle pose. Letting your feet find the bottom 2 corners. Your arms finding the top 2 corners. Just pause and notice. Make sure that that roller is in the most juicy, delicious place possible for you to feel the openness of the pelvis, the hips, the upper legs. Soften everything. Closing your eyes. And taking a last few breaths in pentacle pose. Just to feel the story of your bones. Deep breath in, deeper breath out. And then if you can, without picking up your head, family, just feel your hands down onto the roller and push it out from underneath your buttocks. Let it go underneath your thighs somewhere. And you explore where underneath your thighs it feels the best. Underneath your knees, underneath the mid-thigh, underneath the upper thigh. What is it that is most delicious for your low back? And if it doesn't include the roller, then you just slide your feet up onto the roller and push the roller forward and let it roll out from underneath you altogether. So explore the support that your legs might want to tend to your low back. And then let your arms come long alongside your body, palms up, shoulders down, and just for a moment, reach your fingers towards your toes. And claim the length of your arms as it pulls your shoulders away from your ears. And then just soften. And then you decide, how does that feel for your arms? Is this the distance they want to be from your body? Is this most comfortable? Find what is. So find what the arms and legs want to do for supreme comfort and length. And let them settle into a stillness. And bring your awareness to the buttocks and squeeze and release your buttocks a few times, like 2 points on the earth. Just squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, 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 release, and do the great booty jiggle. Wiggle and jiggle your fanny. And then the great booty meltdown. And just allow all 3 sets of glutes to soften into the earth. And really let go. Letting go of the buttocks, the sacrum, the hips, the pelvis. Feeling the spine unwind. And all the muscles that attach to the spine loosen the grip. The back body spills out all over the floor. The belly softens, the chest, the sternum, the collarbones, the shoulders, the biceps, the triceps, the elbows, they all soften. Forearms to fingertips, soft hands, soft throat, soft neck. Check in with your neck. Would it feel good to roll your head a little side to side, to release any tension, any last gripping in the neck or throat? And just allow your head to organically feel its way to center. And then as the head feels its way to center, is the curve in the back of the neck neutral? This is to say, are the forehead and the chin resting on the same plane? So often we need to just gently feel the base of the skull being pulled towards the wall behind us ever so slightly for the forehead and chin to be resting on the same plane. And then, with the head centered in line with the rest of the spine, we just soften the tongue and the floor of the mouth. Allow the jaw to unhinge. There's nowhere to go, and there's nothing to say as we drop into stillness and silence. Feel total relaxation in the mouth. The roof of the mouth just gently blossoming, mushrooming. Feeling the dome of the mouth mirrored in the dome of the lungs. As we just settle in, soft eyes, soft skull, soft belly. And the awareness rests on the breath once again. And without controlling the movement of life, we simply become a witness, a sacred witness, for life choosing us with each spontaneous inhalation and not taking the breath for granted, giving thanks, just resting perhaps in awe at the ease with which you can breathe, the ease with which the breath breathes you, without any assistance, without request. The breath just breathing you. And we do this with great ease, for all those who are not able at this time to find an easeful, peaceful breath. Continue to rest in this experience for your own well-being and for the well-being of others. Resting in a peaceful, easeful breath. I bathe you in the closing prayers, and I encourage you to just stay put. Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And may the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. And may the light of truth overcome all darkness. Victory to that light. Jai Shri Satguru Maharaj Ki. Jai. Peace to all, light to all.